as you can see, I've got a bit of an obsession with the products from Frederic Malle. It's my favorite overall fragrance brand, and once you kind of have all the fragrances, you start looking for what else can you buy from the range. Especially during the COVID lockdown, I wasn't really spending money on going out, on eating, on clothes, so I kind of went down the rabbit hole of buying these ancillary products from Frederic. I've wanted to post a review for a while because at the time stores weren't open and I couldn't find really anyone who reviewed or talked about them, and I was debating whether they were worth the price. No doubt they are very expensive, not as expensive as La Mer, some other really high-end luxury skincare, but more expensive than Aesop, which is already pretty expensive. Definitely more expensive than your drugstore products. After having used them for a couple of years now, to me they're worth it. The biggest thing is that they all really smell exactly like the perfumes. So the body wash and the lotion here, really dead ringers for the perfumes. They don't feel cheapened. They don't feel like any of the notes have changed. I really became interested in them when, during an interview with Frederic, he talked about how, I think it was using Geranium Pour Monsieur body wash in the shower, he noticed how it brought out certain notes that gave him an idea for another perfume. And I find that's true. You can't expect a shower gel to really remain on your skin, and it definitely doesn't. But the act of using it really reminds me that I love the fragrance and often makes me want to follow up and wear that fragrance that day. In terms of strength of scent, I would say it's medium. It's not super light. It's definitely noticeable and smells really great, but it's not a powerhouse. The Le Labo body gels, they're a lot stronger. I had a Le Labo bar soap that makes the whole bathroom smell. So they were a little more subtle than I first expected. My first one was En Passant, which I think doesn't work great as a body gel actually because it's already a lighter fragrance, and I was a little disappointed with that, but the Bigarade and the Vetiver, they really smell great in the shower. Again, it's not quite a huge room-filling scent, but I think that can also be, one, irritating if there's too much fragrant oil, but two, can get a bit annoying for daily use. So I feel like the scent strength is really perfectly calibrated in the way that Frederic always tends to, use a bit of discretion and taste in their perfumes. By far, probably the best thing is the hand cream. It really is the perfect iris scent. I wish they made this as a perfume. And in fact, the closest perfume I've come to this was talc from the brand, I believe it's pronounced Yunks, which is Olivia Jacobetti's brand, which I had some samples of and was fully planning on buying, but they went out of business one day and they just all disappeared within a few weeks. But the iris smell is really fantastic. Again, not overwhelming. It doesn't stay on your hands forever. You'll smell it. I like to wear it to bed, having your hands up by your face. I definitely detect it as I'm falling asleep. I tend to have more oily skin, so the body butter really isn't for me, but it's definitely a super luxurious, very highly scented product. But I found that the body milk is really perfect consistency for me. It's definitely heavy enough. It's not super light. It's heavy enough for me for winter wear, but not so heavy that it's going to leave me greasy or sticky. It's less than what I would say, or I'd say it's thicker than what I would say a body lotion is. Sometimes milk, I think you assume a really watery texture, but to me this is a bit thicker than things that might label themselves as lotions. So it's fairly nourishing. The candles, I've had a hit or miss. I've bought maybe one or two candles that were kind of duds. I'm not sure if they were manufacturer defects or they weren't stored properly, but the wick never burned properly and it tunneled a lot. It seemed like the wick was too small. But most of them burn actually really well. My only other complaint is since they changed the packaging, made the inside red, this red chips off and peels off really easily. This doesn't seem good if it's some kind of paint being burned in there, but I assume it's not toxic. But I think the old design was actually better, where it was more like a red glass with a white interior. Now they made this white ceramic with a red painted interior, but that paint really comes off. But I love their scents. This one is Jurassic Flower, which I think is just the perfect home scent. It smells clean without smelling like a cleaning product. It's not too generic. It's, again, close to their Eau de Magnolia perfume, but it's not exactly the same. I also got during winter this the Country Home, which is nice. This one is pretty subtle. And again, like I said about the body washes, none of the candles are powerhouses. They're kind of just the right amount, not to be too obtrusive or cloying. But again, compared to other brands, I know Le Labo, they're lighter than Le Labo's candles, which can really fill a room, but can also become a bit overwhelming at times. So I feel like they're perfectly calibrated to delicately scent your home, but they're not going to, fill a huge space with overwhelming amount of fragrance. They come in these nice boxes. Other ones I like from the candles that I don't have here, Gardenia de Nuit. I've actually never bought, but smelled at the store. It's one of the most expensive ones, but it smells fantastic. I also like Notre Dame. So that's it. If you want to splurge, if you like the brand, you like their scents, their general kind of style, I think you'll be happy with these. They do last a long time. The delivery system has its ups and downs. I suppose a pump is easier because for me, I don't use a loofah. I'm anti-loofah. I just put it straight on my hands. So I have to kind of pour with one hand. It's not like the pump and unscrew it and rescrew it. But on the other hand, it's also, you don't have the problem of having leftover at the bottom because it all pours out. So I think the cap is pretty nice. Design, they look nice. Obviously, they look chic. They smell great. I think the strength of these is nice. If you don't like perfume, but you want to be lightly scented, this could do the job, but it's not going to last very long. Cologne Indelible, because of those long-lasting musks, I can detect this on my skin for a couple hours after I put it on. And again, like the body wash, it almost acts as a nice base where it reminds me how much I love the fragrance. It makes me want to put the fragrance on after I use it. Other products from their range, I've never bought the perfume gun. The thing that turned me off is that it says keep away from fabric, and I'm just wondering if it stains or leave marks if I was to spray it around my bed or something like that. And then they also have the Dans Mon Lit, which also smells good, but a lot of reviewers say that it's not worth it at all for $100. The scent just disappears. I've again sprayed it and smelled it in store. It's a rose. It's just a nice light fresh rose, and it smells really nice. Those are all the products I can think of. I think the body butter is maybe the most famous because it is super luxurious, super scented, but again, just way too greasy for me. I got some samples of those with a purchase previously. So those are the extra products. If you feel like wasting your money on, making every part of your life smell like Frederic Malle, go for it. But definitely not necessary. Just a luxury, which I think, is kind of the definition of luxury. Something that's absolutely not necessary, but maybe brings a little extra feeling of, excitement to your life. Anyway, hope that was informative. If you have any more questions about these extra products, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks. Bye.